How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to an episode here on Let's Build Twitter. As always, I'm Ethan, a random coder, your favorite underqualified senior software engineer. And as always, if you guys don't want access to the private repositories, there's a link in the description down below that'll walk you through exactly how to gain access to that. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop into what we're working on today. Today, we're going to go ahead and continue working on messages. Last episode, we got it so we can click on this guy. But the issue is now whenever we do this, since we have this message container, this guy doesn't really line up what we want it to. We want it to be more lined up in line with this. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and extract this code from our message container itself, make a new component, and then try to realign it better. So with that being said, let's go and hop in the code. This might be a long episode, this might be a short one. It all depends on how the refactoring goes, because once we get this component done, we have to actually refactor the message container, and refactoring sometimes doesn't go that well. So with that being said, let's hop into the code, get to work, and see how this goes. So what we're going to want to go ahead and do first is we need to make a new component. So let's go into our source. We're going to go into our features, go into our messaging components, and this is going to be called message content options. I think this is actually supposed to be message options content. I'm going to say actually call it message options content and then slash message, but this is going to cause a bunch of merge conflicts, I guess. So we're just going to go ahead and say message content options slash message content options. I don't know why I named it like that, TSX. And then let's also go ahead and make the CSS message content options.css. Let's hop in here. So import React from React as we normally do. We'll also go ahead and import the / and then message content options.css just so that's in there, and export const, and this is a message content options. This is a react.fc. This is going to go ahead and take in some props, so we'll go ahead and set those up in a second. Let's just go ahead and return this. Return a div with a class name equal to message dash content dash and then options, like so. So now let's go ahead and deal with the props. We're going to have an interface, and this is going to be message content options props. And inside here, we're going to have a message, which is a message. We need to make sure this comes from our global interfaces. We're going to have a user's message, which is a Boolean. So we know if it belongs to the person that's logged in. We're going to update more open. And this is going to be open, which is a Boolean. And this is going to be a void function. So this is going to basically determine whether or not the more options are open. We're going to have update React open, which is going to have open Boolean, and then this is also going to be void, and this is going to determine whether or not the React option is open. And there's a reason behind this, because we want to keep it open if we are like hovering, or if we haven't hovered but we clicked on something. So that's why we need to have it in two places. Basically, you'll see what I'm saying in a second. So here we'll go ahead and throw in the message content option props. We'll go ahead and break this apart. So we'll have our message, we'll have our users message, we'll have our update more open, and update maybe React open, like so. So now we need to basically go through and grab a bunch of stuff either from our old components, or there's a couple pieces of state we can set up now, but we're going to go through and basically paste in some stuff from our old component. But first, let's set up some of the state. So for example, const logged in, and our token we can go ahead and just bring in is equal to use selector, like so. And this is going to be our state and root state. Go ahead and import root state. This will be state user. So we need to go ahead and bring that in. We'll also go ahead, and I think the rest of this we could probably copy paste from our other component. So what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to hop into our message container, and we're going to go ahead and bring some stuff in that we don't need in there anymore. So inside of our message container, we will no longer need our display more. We no longer need our display react. We do not need react distance. We don't need more distance. We don't need flip more. So let's go ahead and delete this out of here. Now this is going to break a lot of stuff for the time being, but we'll fix it. So let's hop back into the component we just made, and then let's go ahead and I'm just going to put it below here, paste that guy in, and let's go ahead and bring in use state, like so. That's good to go. And then out under here, we're going to go ahead and say const dispatch, and this is going to be an app dispatch, and this will be equal to use dispatch, like so. and that is good to go. And then we have React Ref, More Ref, and Watcher Ref. Let's go ahead and check to see if these are inside of our other component as well. So as you can see, we have React Ref, More Ref, Watcher Ref. So we're not going to go ahead and delete the Watcher Ref because we need that in here as well. But I am going to go ahead and copy or delete the React Ref out of here, and let's hop back in there and paste it in. So we can go ahead and paste that guy in, format to look pretty, and then we'll also go ahead and add in the Watcher Ref as well. So Watcher Ref is equal to use ref, and we're going to need this guy in here. We need it in multiple places, so that's why I'm not deleting it out of the other one, and null. We'll probably need to go ahead and import use ref. That's fine. So let's go ahead and import use rec, and that's good to go. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is start pulling out a lot of those functions that we no longer need inside our message content. Let's hop back into message content, start pulling out those functions. So for example, we will need this handle click outside. Maybe we delete it. I don't know. I'm going to have to double check that. Users message we don't need. We don't need syntax. We do need this message more. So let's go ahead and grab message more. We're going to need react. So let's go ahead and grab react. We need to bring in our message reaction, and then we also need, I guess we are going to go ahead and bring in handle click outside in the use effect. So let's go ahead and copy the handle click outside as well. So let's first go ahead and grab this guy, and let's go ahead and hop in and paste it in. So this isn't the exact order that I had these in, but it is what it is. Okay, and then let's hop back in and grab all those other functions. So like I was saying, let's go back down. We need the message more, we need the react, we need the message reaction, we need this use effect. Let's go ahead and delete these out of here, and now there should be less errors in here. There might still be a couple places where it's broken, and I guess we don't need the app dispatch anymore, which I think we add back in later, so I'm not going to delete that yet. But let's hop back into that new component and add this in. So now we can go ahead and paste all of this in like so. Go ahead and do that, and this looks good. So now we should be using our display more and everything. At least I hope that we named everything the same. It looks like it. This should all be good. And to go ahead and bring in react to message. It won't let me import it, so we need to go ahead and import this from our slice, I believe. So let's just go ahead and try to import that. So import, and this is react to message from our message slice, so that's good. Any other errors? Let's just see here. We have use effect as an error. Let's go ahead and bring in use effect. That is fine. That looks good. Okay, I think we're all good there. Now we need to go ahead and bring in the code from the message container, so the actual HTML. So once again, let's hop into the message container, and let's see if I can figure out what I need to change. It looks like I actually called this dash pop up like so. Let's hop into the message container and grab the stuff we need out here. So I want to go ahead and scroll down here, and where we have our message pop up, so message content options, and then we have our react options, and so on and so forth. So basically we could have deleted this as well. We're going to go ahead and take this out like so, and this is going to go all the way down to, I don't remember where it goes exactly, maybe here, I think, or maybe here. Let's see. I'm trying to see how far down this actually goes. Display more, and this goes a little bit too far. So actually I think we only need to go to right here, because this one connects to that curly brace, which we don't worry about. So I'm going to go ahead and go to here, delete this guy out of there. And actually I went a little bit too far even, because we don't need that outer div. We actually just need to go to here like that. That's fine. Let's go back into our other component and paste this in. And there's going to be some more work we have to do in a little bit to make sure this is all working 100%. But it is what it is. Okay, so now if we have display react, we'll go ahead and show the message react modal. That's fine. From user is going to be equal to user's message. This needs to be changed to just user's message like that. We need to bring in our react SVG. That is fine. We have our message more modal. Go ahead and bring that in. Once again, we'll go ahead and have user's message, and we need to bring in more horizontal like so. And that's just going to come in from material UI. That's good to go. So now we need to go ahead and fix up a few things in here, because like, for example, whenever we click outside, we need to do more than just set react false, and we need to do a couple other things. So starting out in message more, we're going to go ahead and also call this update, and then more open, and go ahead and set that to true as well. So we want to go ahead and say, hey, we opened up more inside of our other component. And then same thing here with react. So whenever we call this, we're going to go ahead and update, and then more open like so. Go ahead and call that true. That's good to go. And then we need to go ahead and do a couple more things inside of like our message react and whatnot. So message reaction, instead of just setting display react to false, we're also going to go ahead and update, update react react open will also be false. And then we need to also go ahead and deal with the handle click outside, which I've kind of put in a different location, but it's fine. So now for handle click outside, we're going to set display react. We're going to also set display more to false. We're going to go ahead and update more open to false. And we're going to go ahead and update. And then this one is react open to false. So we're going to go ahead and close everything if we go ahead and click outside. I think that's everything we need to do in here. I'm just going to go ahead and double check. We should already have the watcher ref and all that stuff put on. Let's see. Although we might have moved the watcher ref, so I might need to double check that. The watcher ref is now right here. That is correct. I was going to say, I think we made a couple changes to this. So watcher ref will now go there, and let me find where the watcher ref used to be. I think it used to be on React or something. Maybe it wasn't. I'm not sure where watcher ref was, but it is now moved. And then message reaction is still fine. React distance is still fine. From user, it will be user's message now. We have our React ref and React. And we might need to put on, nope, we already have a more ref and so on and so forth. I think on this on mouse leave, we actually delete because we don't want to go away whenever the mouse leaves. We're going to end up using the off click or off screen click basically to handle that. So I think we'll want to get rid of that. And I think that's basically everything in here. Now, like I said, there's probably going to be some refactoring stuff we have to do and some fixing to do because it's probably not going to work 100% first try. And whenever we go through and refactor even more inside of the message component, it's going to be even more broken. So bear with me here, but this is looking good. Now we need to go ahead and bring in the CSS. What we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to hop into the CSS for the message content. So here we're going to go ahead and grab from the message content pop-up, which apparently I must have named slightly differently, but we're going to go ahead and grab the options, the React content, React options, message content wrapper, and then wrapper hover, I believe. So it's going to go ahead and grab all of this. I'm going to go ahead and delete it out of here. Let's hop into the other CSS. We can go ahead and paste that in. So now this is message options dash pop-up, I guess, because I renamed it, but it's fine. And hopefully all of this CSS is also just working fine. So that's good to go. Now, before we actually hop into the mesh container and do some refactoring, there's some other refactoring we need to do as well to make things work better. So firstly, we need to hop into the message conversation image. And I didn't realize, but the image is different sizes depending on who sends it. So let's hop into the message conversation image. What we're going to go ahead and do here is we're going to add something into our props. We're going to go ahead and add in a width. We're going to go ahead and say width is a number, and we're going to go ahead and pass it in here as well. So width. So now we're going to go ahead and set the width based on this. So now we're going to come down to where we have our div with the background URL right here, and we're just going to go ahead and add in width here, and that should go ahead and set it to what we want. So width like so, and that should be good to go. And now we have the fun part, which is going to be updating the entire mess that is the message container. And depending on how long it takes, this might be a really short episode or it might be a really long episode. But let's hop into the mesh container and try to get this done. So starting at the top, we're going to add in some new state, and I don't think we actually end up needing the dispatch anymore, so we can delete that. Let's also just go ahead and clean some stuff up here. So we can go ahead and delete our use dispatch. We might not even need the use selector anymore, I'm not sure. We can go ahead and get rid of the app dispatch, get rid of this more horizontal, and we can go ahead and clean up all of this stuff. I just don't like seeing all this unused imports up here. We can also delete that use effect, which we might end up adding a new one, so I'm not going to delete that yet. Below our message hover, we're going to add in some new states to determine whether or not this is open. So we're going to have const more open and set more open is equal to use state. This would be a Boolean and start out as false. We're also going to go ahead and say const react open. Whoops. Set react open is equal to use state of a Boolean, and this is going to be false as well. That's good to go. We also need to go ahead and set up a couple functions. Very simple, const and this update more open, and this is going to take in an open, which is a Boolean, and this is just going to go ahead and say set more open to open, and this is what we're going to pass into that new component we just created. We also want to go ahead and say const, and this one is going to be update react open is equal to, and then open Boolean, and then we'll go ahead and say set react open to that open. So that's good to go. I don't remember if we do end up needing this watcher ref. It says it's being used. I want to go and find where this watcher ref is being used. It's just inside message container. I don't remember if we keep this. Let me double check the GitHub code really quick, because if we're not going to use it, I am going to go ahead and delete it really quick. So it does seem like we are going to go ahead and delete this watcher ref. So let's go ahead and delete it out of here and come up here and delete it out of here like so. I just want to make sure we get rid of all the stuff we don't actually need, just because it's going to clutter stuff up and make it a little bit more difficult. So with that being said, now we can go ahead, and I guess I did have it down here. Next we need to go ahead and probably fix this conversation image, which I didn't put in here. I think that for message subtitle right, and honestly I think the reason I didn't do this is because we're going to get into the fun part. So now we basically need to do a bunch of like random and small changes inside of our user message versus non-user message. So we need to add in some divs and stuff. That's where it's going to get a little bit difficult, because I need to kind of keep track of where all the divs are actually going to go. But starting out, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to have a div right here underneath the message subtitle right. Div, whoops, a class name equal to, and it's going to be blue dash message dash group. So we're going to have that guy, and then we're going to have another div inside of it that just is a div. So div like so, and then what goes inside this div is going to be our message image and then our message text, I believe. So let's go ahead and delete this as well, and we're going to go ahead and throw that inside of this div like that. Go ahead and just make it look pretty, and then we can go ahead and fix this. So for this one, our width is going to equal to 275. So I think that does that. And then below this new div, but inside of the message blue group, we're going to go ahead and have our message hover, whoops, hover, or our more open, or our react open. So if any of those, and then we'll go ahead and have our new component that we just created. So have our message content option, and this is supposed to be options with an S, whatever. Message will equal to message. Our users message will equal to true, because we know it's the user's message. Update more open will equal to update more open. Whoops, if I could type, that'd be cool. And then finally, our update react open will equal to update react maybe open, and that should be good. And now let's go ahead and bring in this message content option from our components. Go ahead and bring that in, and that looks like it's fine. So now that's good. And then what we're going to go ahead and do, we also have an updated piece of code here, it seems like. So in here we have message reactions and message reactions.length. I think we had an error that popped up and broke everything. So message.reactions, if we have message reactions and message.reactions.length is greater than 0, we had an issue where the message reactions were coming back null, I believe, and then it was breaking everything. So that's the primarily things that are changed here. We just need to make sure that these divs are kind of wrapped around the right areas. I think they are, because I think that everything in here goes inside of the message subtitle group, and then our message blue group should only encounter basically the hover and the content. Now we gotta do kind of like the same thing with the message gray group, or the gray message group. Now we gotta make some more changes. So here we're gonna go ahead and add a style to this. Style is equal to width 100%. I don't know if we actually end up needing this width 100%, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep it because I did add it in. And then down here, we're gonna go ahead and update this div. It's gonna have a class name equal to, and then this is gonna be gray dash message dash hover dash group. And then I believe we need another div inside this now. So like that. And then this new div inside here is going to go ahead and encompass all of this stuff. So all of this, let's go ahead and delete this and paste it in here. So far it seems like it's going pretty good, but I just jinxed it and it's probably not going to work. Now inside of a master conversation image, this width is going to be slightly smaller. It's actually only going to have a width of 223. Whenever I was working with Rick's messages yesterday, or the day whenever I was working on this to get it all working, I was like, why the heck is this adding scroll balls? Because I didn't realize that whenever a different user sends you a message, it actually has a smaller width inside of the image if there's an image. So now what we want to go ahead and do is, I believe inside of our gray message hover, but outside of this new div that we just grouped that stuff together, we're once again going to go ahead and have message hover or more open, or, and then React open. And then we'll have, and we're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to go ahead and have our, message maybe. And this is message content option. It's supposed to be an S, but it is what it is. Message is equal to message. Can't type. And then we're going to have users message is equal to false. Update more open will equal to, I'm going to make sure I spell more right. Update more open, and then we'll have update React open is equal to update React open. So that is good to go, and everything is fixed. And then once again here, we're going to check to make sure we actually have reactions. So message.reactions and message reactions.length. That way we don't cause that error. And in theory, that should be everything. Obviously, we want to go ahead and get rid of this guy and delete that. We're going to need a message for myself to actually test this, and that's going to be fun. But in theory, that should be everything. The last thing we need to go and do is just set up the CSS for all these new things that we created. So let's hop into that CSS, see what happens, and then fingers crossed this works. So I'm just going to go ahead and put these at the bottom. It's not going to hurt anything because they are new. Gray-message-group, except gray message group should already exist, I think. Let's see. Gray message group does exist. We just made a couple of changes. So here, we're going to have width of 100%. We have display flex still. This is all fine. The only thing that's different is this is in instead of flex end, but I just added the width 100% here. That's fine. We'll go ahead and add .gray. I guess I'll just add it here. Message hover group. Here we'll have, once again, width 100%. Whoops, that's not percent sign, 100%. We're going to have display of flex, justify content in the flex start, and we're going to go ahead and have align items in the center, and finally a gap of 8px. So that looks good. And then we'll also go ahead and do message blue group. So again, I think that's normally above here, but it is what it is. Where is our message blue at? Here it is. So I'll just go ahead and add blue dash message dash group here. Once again, width will be 100%. We're going to have a display, of flex. The flex dash direction is going to go ahead and be row dash reverse. I really hope this works out. We're going to have justify content, flex dash start. We're going to have align items in the center, and we're going to have a gap of 8px. Go ahead and save all of that, and I think that's technically all the code that I wanted to write for this episode. Now the thing is it actually going to work? I don't actually know. So let's hop into the front end, give it a good refresh, just kind of see what happens, and then debug any issues. Any issue is going to be probably coming from the refactoring of our message container, so we'll have to look into there. So I'm going to go ahead and refresh this. I'm also going to go ahead and make a message for myself really quick, just to go ahead and make sure we can test from both ways. Message from myself. Let's go ahead and send that. Okay, so now that actually looks pretty good. It does look like it might be a little bit high, but I'm not sure. This one also looks pretty good. It looks like it's moving slightly, so there might be a little bit of weirdness going on here. Let me just go ahead and take a look at it and see if I can find something that is acting a little bit strange. But this is actually working fairly well compared to what I was actually expecting. So this is actually a win for me. But let's just go ahead and see if maybe there's some like margin or something on the bottom of these that wasn't deleted that was supposed to. That's messing with some stuff. We'll go ahead and wrap up the episode. So it seems like there's a margin bottom on message content pop-up options. So let's go ahead and take a look to see if we take that off if it looks a little bit better. So let's hop into our message content options, and this guy, let's go ahead and take off this margin bottom, and let's take a look at what it looks like. So now it's not moving. That looks way better, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. So we should still be able to click on this. We can click off, we can click on React, we can go ahead and click on the more options, we can go ahead and click on this guy, and we can do all of this. So this might have been a little bit shorter episode by the time I get everything edited down, but I appreciate you all for watching. I wanted to go ahead and give myself some leeway in this episode because sometimes whenever you're doing these big refactors, things can break and then it takes a really long time to get things out. So I wanted to go ahead and give myself that leeway. If you guys did enjoy, please like, comment, and subscribe. Everything helps out here with the YouTube algorithm. If you do want to see where I started from absolute scratch to get to the point we are now, I do have a playlist that's going to link in the end card here in a second. They'll go ahead and walk you through everything. As always, everyone, I hope you did enjoy. This has been Ethan Uncoder. Have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video.